Christmas might be just around the corner, but who doesn't love a good spooky paranormal story? Well, luckily for you today, I have two. So these aren't exactly spooky paranormal stories, but they are just a couple of little events that have happened in my life that kind of seem a little bit paranormal. The first one is more weird and less creepy. The second one is a picture and it's almost humorous actually, but it's also weird because there's like no good explanation for it. So we'll get to that one. The more like weird sort of kind of creepy paranormal stories that I'm going to be sharing, those will be in a later video. I just wanted to start out with sort of the simple couple that I have. So let's start out with the first one. This one takes place back when I was in either 8th or 9th grade, and it was right around Christmas time, so kind of around this time of year. I had gotten a lantern for Christmas, which I have actually shown it in another video before. I will show it right now. This lantern is really pretty. I really enjoy it. The lantern isn't the spooky thing, it's what's inside. That little candle in there is the culprit of this story. So this little guy doesn't look too scary. It's cool because you blow on it to turn it on and off. So there you can see it's on. You can see it's off. There's literally nothing wrong with this candle. It works just fine. You put the battery in the bottom and then you take the battery out. It doesn't work. So it was right around Christmas time. I think Christmas had actually been a few weeks back because I was back into school. So it was in January, I do believe. And I'd had this candle and this lantern since Christmas because that's when I got it. And nothing had been weird about it, nothing had been wrong with it. The candle did its thing and sat there and worked when I blew on it and turned off when I blew on it again. And then one night after school, I had left my room to go take a shower. I hadn't turned on the candle, I don't even think I'd messed with it that day. And I went and got in the shower. Now I do remember one specific thing about this day is that something else had happened. For the life of me, I can't remember what this other thing was, but I remember it was another thing that sort of like put me on edge a little bit because it was weird. It wasn't, I don't know if it was paranormal, obviously, but it was weird enough to make me think it possibly could have been. Obviously it wasn't that memorable because I don't remember what it was, but something else had happened this day. I remember that. I just don't remember what it was. Anyway, so I had gotten out of the shower, and I take night showers, so it was dark outside. And I came back in my room. My room was pitch black except for one measly little light coming from a candle on my dresser. It was just on, and you might be thinking, well, Katie, maybe you forgot to turn it off. I never turned it on. Maybe someone else in your house did. The only other person was my mom, so I went and I asked her, like, hey Mom, did you happen to turn on my candle for some reason? And she said she did not. She had not been in my room. So no, it wasn't her. And then I came back in and thought, you know, hey, maybe it was an open window, maybe it was the heat or something, or a draft somehow getting into your room and turning it on. First off, there was no window open, it was the middle of winter. The heat was probably on, because it was the middle of winter, but it was on the other side of the heating duct. Even if wind was whipping around my room, it was inside a lantern, and the only holes in it are at the top, and I will show you. The air doesn't get in here except for these holes on top. This is literally the only holes in the entire lantern, and blowing in them does not turn this sucker on. Like, the air doesn't get in enough in here to blow on this. You have to actually take it out and blow on it. So that wasn't it. So basically a human had to turn that thing on. Like, it couldn't have been wind, it couldn't have been, you know, just a random gust of air. A human had to turn it on because nothing had been wrong with it up to this point. There was nothing wrong, like, the battery was fine, the candle itself was fine, nothing was weird about the lantern. It had just been normal until this point. So I would go to school, I would come home. Some days the candle would be on when I got home, and some days it wouldn't be. It was really weird. No one again had turned it on. This started getting, like, it would start happening more and more. I would start to come home from school, and then every day the candle would be on, and then I would start to leave my room and come back and this within a couple of hours and the candle would be on. It would just come on when I left the room. It was the weirdest thing and I had no idea what was going on. And so at one point I just got so freaked out by this that I just took the battery out, and once I took the battery out, it didn't turn on without the battery, thank goodness. That would have been really creepy. But it did do the same thing if I would put the battery back in, so I don't know what the crap was wrong with it. One thing you should know about me in this story is I am a Christian. I believe that there are demons and ghosts out there, and I believe that if you pray over it and use Jesus' name, that they have to go away. So that's what I did for this candle. I prayed over it, and I was like, basically like, hey Jesus, if there's some weird thing possessing this candle, would you please make it leave? And I didn't have a problem with it after that, honestly. So it's a little suspicious. My next one is, like I mentioned earlier, a photo, and it's not that scary. It's really just, I don't think it's scary, I just think it's kind of funny. It was around the same time period as the candle thing. We had just gotten a new puppy, the current dog we have now. His name is Roscoe. And you know how when you get a new dog, you have to take like a million pictures of this dog because, like, what else are you going to do with them for the first month that you have them? I remember this day very well because I was in my family room, which has sort of a doorway or archway or whatever, seeing into the living room, which is where my dad and my brother and the dog were, because my dad was standing right in front of the archway, and then my brother was right there holding Roscoe, and they were taking the picture of him. And my brother was holding him in this picture. You can see this weird freaking shady picture in the background of like a figure or a shadow or something. And like I said, it wasn't me. I was looking at this being taken. I was not. That figure is in my sunroom. And I was not in the sunroom. I was in the family room. And my mom was in her room. And I mean, this was on a phone. So like I remember my dad went back and looked at the picture and they could see like there's something weird in the background of this. Like, what is this? And so my mom, if she would have been standing there, which she wouldn't have because there was a wall on one side, a table on the other, and she was just like weirdly like this, like she wouldn't have been there anyway in the first place. And he would have seen her because he had just taken the picture, and he would have noticed his wife in the background of it, and since she wasn't, and there was just this shady figure, like, what is that? We joke sometimes in our family about having a ghost in our house, and I mean, we don't ever take it seriously, but it is sort of weird when you take a picture and then you see that and you're like, well, maybe it's that ghost that we always joke about. So I really don't know what that is, honestly. It could be a weird shadow. It could just be, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it could be. We figured like, well, maybe we should try to like recreate it with my mom, see if we can get the same effect. And we tried that with a couple of different pictures and different lighting and stuff, and it never turned out the same. Because one, my mom does not look anything like that figure. Like, she doesn't, her hair is longer than that, her body shape is way different than that. Like, she's shorter than that, and she doesn't like poof out at the middle like this one does. So that didn't make, if I can find the pictures that we took where we were trying to recreate it, like, I'll put them in. If I can't, I'm sorry. But honestly, there was no way that it was going to look like that because, like, one, the lighting was super weird. She wouldn't have been completely dark and like a silhouette, and she just doesn't look like that. And it, again, wasn't me because I remember seeing the picture being taken. So we're still stumped on that one. We still don't know what that is. It is forever a mystery. So those are my two, like, minor paranormal stories. If you guys give this video a like, it will show me that you want to see the more, like, in-depth ones that I have. I actually have 3 other ones for my next video that I was planning on doing, or for the next paranormal video that I was planning on doing, and they all sort of connect, and they're all really, really strange and kind of spooky. So if you do want to hear about those, give this video a like. If you want to see more of my face, you can give the subscribe video a push. And if you want to share your favorite paranormal stories that have happened to you, you can leave them in the comments, or if you want to open up suggestions of what the crap is going on in my house, you can leave suggestions in the comments, because I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, because I don't freaking know what that was. Anyway, bye guys.